Thank you so much for joining us. For you who don't know, my name's Coach Micah, Chief Instructor of Motorcycle in Kenya, certified by MSI, Motorcycle Safety Institute of South Africa, Durban. And today we are coming straight out county number
Number 33.
number 33,
So.
Narok. And here I have now I call him a very experienced rider doing 45 counties of Kenya in 50 days.
Yeah.
That's where we you. That's why you need to clap. Karibu sana. This is my buddy, my friend called Daniel.
Bro.
And Naleo, I want to hear his thoughts about the DS VOGE 300. He's ridden so many bikes right now. He has a story of the GS. Actually, gonna have a very good conversation on the GS one of these fine days. But
GS650.
GS 650 has traumas with that bike. But anyway, today we're talking about the VOGE 300.
Yeah,
So
300.
before we dive into it, maybe people should know you, what you do,
Mm.
your socials, and all that.
Yeah. Thanks, Micah. My name is Dan. I also did the 45 counties ride that we did last year with Kibe, and it was an awesome.
Oh yeah,
ride.
it was good.
Yeah,
That was legit.
very. We had a good time.
Yep.
As he said, he's my trainer, by the way. He trained me when I started learning bikes. I think that's like 7, 8 years ago, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at least I've had so many bikes going through my
Along the way.
hands, along
Yeah.
the way, and things like that. Currently, I ride
Feel free.
a V-Strom 1000.
Yep.
That's my current bike, and he gave me the privilege to ride the
The DS
VOGE DS
300.
300.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, so today I'll give you my sentiments about VOGE.
Yes.
And what I noticed about it, and where we rate it.
A disclaimer: he always corrects my grammar.
Oh yeah, I'm an English teacher by profession, so
Yes.
that will always come up.
So if you hear my Englishing, he's like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So let's dive into it. What did you pick on the first side?
At first, when you told me about the VOGE, I've seen it on the socials, guys. Advertising it and talking about it. And I was
Right.
like, yeah, it's a good opportunity for me to test it.
Yeah.
Because when we did the 47 counties, we did I did using the Tekken 250 as well as the Dayun 300.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful
so
bike, that one.
beautiful bike.
Yeah.
We started with it when we were doing the paved roads. I used it.
Yes.
Then we now switched to going to Turkana through the non-paved roads.
Yeah.
Is when I switched to Tekken. I gave the review also on my TikTok.
Oh, you did?
On that, yeah.
What's your handle so that these guys can check your reviews on TikTok?
Daniel Ngigi Njuguna, that's my name.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you have good reviews? Because these guys think I don't like Tekken.
well, yeah, I do have reviews. The good, the bad, and the ugly
All right.
about Tekken.
Let them go check it out. Today we're talking about DS VOGE.
Yeah, because I rode it for a long time. During,
Okay.
I think that was like 2 months or so.
Oh, okay.
1.5 months.
Nice.
In the 47
Counties.
47 county rides.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, got the VOGE. He gave it to me today. I went, checked it out.
Yeah.
First impressions, I like the bike.
Okay.
Looks very good on the outside. Very nice color.
Yeah.
Very nice LED headlights.
Right.
And overall speaking, the aesthetic is very appealing. And it's a naked bike.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of naked bikes. Naked bikes have a way of just standing out for me. I don't know about others. So
Right.
in that aspect, I felt like it was very good. I loved the digital dash.
Okay.
And maybe about the mirrors, we'll talk about them
Yeah.
later on.
Yeah.
What's the cons?
Okay.
But generally looked good color, red, and all that kind of things.
Okay.
I would say it's a very good street bike. Because first
Okay.
of all, one thing that I noticed when I got on top of it is that it's very nimble.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Very nimble. You
Right.
can move around in the city setup.
Right.
And it's very forgiving, especially for a beginner. I think it's a very perfect. It's a perfect bike for a beginner because it's very forgiving. Not too talky, not too lazy.
Yeah.
It's
just well balanced.
just well balanced. Anybody who is starting out on riding, they would really enjoy themselves.
In that, as we are there on the well balance, can you do that bike from 1,000 from Vistom where you are?
Yeah.
Can you do this bike? Can you is it among the bikes you don't mind buying if at all you have to drop?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of okay, for me, from a preferential
Yeah,
point of view,
yeah,
I do an off road.
yeah,
But now, if I'm to buy a street bike, I
yeah.
wouldn't mind having the Dodge.
Okay.
Because another thing that I really liked is the
Yeah.
height.
Oh yes,
Oh,
yes,
it
yes,
creates a
yes,
very nice commanding,
yes, yes. Posture.
yeah, when you're on top, the height is
Yeah,
good and the posture is also natural,
yeah, yeah.
like the adventure natural
I
posture,
love it. I love it
which
for
is
that.
good.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
it's
Hands
very
down.
good. Yeah,
Hands down. Yeah.
yeah. When I got on top of it, I realized, oh, the height is good. I mean,
Right.
you're on top of cars, you can
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
guys
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
down,
And
which is an
also,
advantage.
it helps you to see as far.
Yes,
So
have
safety wise.
a longer side of vision,
Mm.
which I think it's a good thing.
Okay. Okay.
So for me, I liked it on that part.
Okay.
And I also one issue that I faced with the V-Strom
Yeah.
is on the side panniers just in front of the just in front of the seat.
Mm.
The side panniers where you not the panniers, sorry, the side
The
fairings
fairings. Yeah.
where you put your legs
Yes. When you
when you
sit,
sit,
if you have the knee
yeah,
gaps
where
where the
you're
knee gaps
hugging.
touch, yeah, where you hug
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah,
in
we're
it.
hugging there.
Yeah.
Now the V-Strom has an issue in that when you are riding, wind goes
There's
through
a word of that
that effect.
rotational wind. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's like
So
crosswind, but it's not crosswind.
yes, on the side.
It's where yeah.
Yeah, I tested that bike. There wasn't that
Okay.
wind, which for me was good. I noticed because you're hugging it very well. And
Right.
it has some bit of a bulge outside,
Mm.
which ensures that there's no that wind trap.
So in other words, like just to use this, if the wind comes from down, somehow those fairings
Yeah.
doesn't allow it to come straight to your helmet, so it doesn't hit you from up there because there's this.
It actually doesn't hit straight to the helmet. It goes under the helmet. It comes
I
into
get
here.
you.
Yeah.
So that's where you're
It's very
complaining.
uncomfortable.
Yeah,
On
I
the
felt
V-Strom.
it just. Oh, on the V-Strom.
On the V-Strom.
Okay.
Now I don't know about you on the VOGE.
Yeah.
But for me, I didn't feel it. Maybe the difference in height.
Okay. Okay.
The only part I felt it, which we'll talk about it later on,
Yeah.
is on
It's from in front.
from the visor. Yeah, the front
Ah,
visor.
that one, the BMW. I always regard BMWs are like cream de la cream when it comes to safety and all these details because they put what they call fins.
Oh,
If you,
yeah.
if you look at the GS 1200 whatever's,
Mhm.
just on the side here, there's this that will divert that wind that well thought through.
Yeah.
So I get you. Okay.
Yeah, because when you check online, there's some guys who have wisdom. They improvise.
Yes.
Those fins and those plastics
Ah.
help.
I see. I
Yeah.
see. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's power. You love the power. You love the sitting posture. You love the
Yeah, the
looks.
sitting posture is good.
Yeah.
The power is good for a beginner.
Okay.
Very, very nice.
Mm-hmm.
I guess also I loved that side fairing being there means there's no wind noise coming
Straight to kick your
on the under the helmet.
You're the only one here who knows how irritating it is.
Very irritating.
You
almost
most
feel
of the
like your
highways
helmet is blowing
gonna
off.
come off.
I
get you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I also liked the digital dash.
Okay. The
and,
display, yeah.
Yeah, the dashboard, yeah, the digital fuel gauge. That's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interactive.
Okay.
Also the suspension, front suspension and rear suspension, it's very stiff, which is good for paved roads.
Yeah.
And those rumble strips.
Correct.
And bumps. Unfortunately, it's not adjustable. That's the only issue.
It's not, eh?
Yeah,
I haven't checked it
the
out.
rear suspension is not.
Oh, yeah?
adjustable. I checked it out.
Crazy.
So it's stiff like that. So
Okay.
there's nothing much you can do unless you buy an aftermarket one. So for me, those were some of the things that were outstanding on the bike.
Okay.
And the seat is fairly comfortable, I'd say.
For riders, because my pillion complained.
Yes. Fair. That's what I said.
Fairly.
Comfortable.
I told you I'm gonna be taught English. Keep it locked.
Yeah, I want to be very
specific with the words.
Yeah, fairly comfortable.
Yeah.
I'll talk about some of the cons that I noticed with the seat.
Okay. Okay.
So for me, overall, that's what I liked about the bike.
Okay.
Yes.
Con side.
Mm.
Are you ready? If you're a small boy, walk, scroll. If you don't have a heart to take this, scroll.
Yeah.
All right. Since you are there, kick it in.
Now, as I pick it up on that part of the seat, I don't know how if you felt it. I felt the seat was not. It was not well positioned in a way like it's not. The way the seat
Well
is
shaped.
to hug you. And apart from that, you feel as if you're leaning on the inside.
So my pillion was right.
Yeah, it's
apparently.
like you're going. You're moving close
to the tank.
Which is very uncomfortable. If you're doing long distances,
okay,
you will really, really get tired.
So you keep on adjusting back and forth.
So you have to move behind. You have to move behind most of the time.
Okay.
And I feel like if you have a pillion on the back, They'll
She'll
really,
keep on.
yeah, the space is so little. I don't know, maybe
Mm,
because maybe Chinese maybe are a little bit in terms of
yeah,
body
body
size.
size and
Maybe they
all
are
that.
smaller than other people.
Okay.
So maybe that's what they do.
Yeah.
Of course, the pillion seat is small. That's
Okay.
what I noticed.
Okay.
And the wind visor for me, I didn't feel like it's effective. Though I saw it has an adjusting button. I'm not
Yes,
really sure.
it's adjustable.
Adjustable, yeah.
You just need an Allen
Yeah.
key,
Yeah,
then
so
you're
you
just
can
couple of
adjust. So maybe somebody who wants to adjust, they can do that. Yes. Now, when I mentioned about the stiffness of the suspension,
yes.
it's good on paved roads. But now coming to off
A
road,
bit of that.
oh, a bit of that is.
Yeah.
I felt like it struggled a little bit, even in just normal paved roads.
And maybe just to make it clear, off-road, he doesn't mean the crazy off-road of off-road bikes.
Yeah.
He just had a very well pressed off-road. That's what he meant. And he could. So how did you feel like in terms of the response from the suspension when you went on the
Off road.
that? Yeah.
Um, Actually, what I did, I went. There were some small bumps. The off road that I took,
Okay.
I did it deliberately to see how
Okay.
it's going to behave.
Adjust. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very stiff.
Okay.
It means if you go through those bumps off road for a while, or those holes and
Yeah.
potholes and
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
you might have some back pains,
Okay.
something like that, or even pain on your bum,
Mm.
because it's very stiff. When it's very stiff,
Yeah.
there's no flexibility.
Correct.
That can really it can make handling very difficult on off road. So I'd say it's a good street bike, but now when it comes to off road, about the dual purpose, I'm not really sure.
Okay. So you wouldn't. Okay, you've mentioned something interesting.
Yeah.
Dual purpose. So
Yes.
if it comes to like you thinking of doing the Nairobi commuting and then slightly jump into to check your guashes, then that's not the bike.
In the interior part of,
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
country.
yeah.
But now if you're just living like maybe like 1 kilometer off,
Yeah, you
the
can
main
struggle
road,
with it.
you can handle it. You can struggle with it.
Yeah,
But now when you're doing like 20 kilometers,
Yeah.
30 kilometers off road.
yeah. No,
I
forget
feel
about
like
it.
Tekken does a better job. for
Okay,
me.
yeah.
When I
What a comparison, but yeah,
when I compared it,
Yeah.
for me I felt Tekken was more comfortable
Okay,
on off road
because of the
because of the difference in whatever.
yeah.
So I'd say it's a very good street bike
Okay.
in my opinion.
Okay.
Another thing I noticed,
Yes.
I don't know whether you noticed this, the throttle snap, the throttle snap back.
Mm.
You know when you brake and you're snapping back the throttle,
Right.
I felt like sorry when you're snapping back the
Off.
throttle
Yeah.
off the throttle,
Yeah.
I felt like the response was not so.
It had a bit of a delay.
There was a delay. In my opinion, there was some bit of a space. Maybe you check that.
Okay.
But when I took it back, I felt like there was a delay.
Okay.
In my opinion,
Okay.
it's not as
as quick.
receptive as it should be.
Right.
Especially if you're doing quick speeds, you need to.
And there's the need of just
Yes.
jump into the action. Okay.
Yeah, so I felt like that can be limiting, especially if you're using the two finger technique. You
Yeah.
have the
To
two
break
finger
it.
on the
Yeah. Yeah.
Then now you have to go off and then touch the brake.
Correct.
Going off sometimes I felt like when I was going for the brake and going off the throttle, the bike was still revving. So it's counteracting towards
acting whatever.
against the brake.
Okay.
So the slowing will not be
effective.
as I would want it
Yeah.
to
Of
be.
course, you're still on the gas.
Yes, you're still on the gas, so
Yeah.
that's an issue.
Okay.
So that's what I felt. But the brakes are so good.
The front one, right?
Or the front brakes are
Did you deliberately went hard on the rear to see the response?
not too hard,
Okay.
but I tapped it a couple of times. And
Did it delay or it
gunned and
kicked
then-
in? The ABS kicks in time.
Actually, I didn't test the ABS.
Ah,
because
okay.
I hadn't asked you whether it had. So that's what
It
came to
does.
my mind.
Ah.
I tested the ABS. I was like, it's not
Yeah,
my
I
bike,
tested
don't
it
want to go
yesterday.
with that,
Actually, when I was just going to where we spent the night,
yeah. Okay.
and guess what my pillion told me? I had already prepared we're going to fall.
Mm.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, do you know who you're rolling with?
She
But-
doesn't know. You better know.
She,
Yeah.
yeah, of course, if it's your person, they will have a certain trust,
Mm.
and then the doubt, which is okay.
Yeah.
It keeps both of us safe.
Mm.
So anyway, just to kick on on the braking, the front, yes, I concur with you.
Yeah.
Beautiful braking,
Oh yeah.
power.
Yeah.
The rear ABS, I feel like it's bipolar.
Okay.
I went off road where we did. I deliberately went and locked the rear. We're going downhill on that, so I went hard on the rear,
Yeah.
to see if it's skidded. It skidded, and then
Oh.
it left it again. So yeah,
That's interesting.
that's quite scary.
Mm.
So for the DS riders, if you've checked it out, if you haven't, go check it out on the DAT fish place.
Mhm.
Go hard on the rear, then see the response. So that I picked it up yesterday.
Yeah, but as a coach, what do you think about the use of OBS on off-road? As in, is it like too intrusive? I think maybe that might be an advantage in my opinion. It might be an advantage if you're doing
Not
off-road,
to the rear.
because if you have an intrusive ABS off-road,
It is. Even
you have a problem.
look at the world. Look at the seasoned riders around across the world.
Mm.
For me, if the bike has ABS and then it doesn't have the button on and off, I'd rather snap it out
Yes.
on the rear.
Yes. Yes.
Because I'm a very aggressive rider on the off-road,
Mm.
and sometimes I need to skip that rear to counter steer or to change direction of the motorcycle.
Yes.
So if the rear will kick in with ABS, it's very intrusive. I'm
Yeah.
not free.
That's what I'm saying. If the ABS on this bike did not kick in when you use the rear,
Yeah.
is it a good thing?
Well, because it's not meant for off-roaders, right?
Oh yes.
No, but just here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's a bad thing because it's not meant for off-roaders. So it needs
A
to be
street bike.
responsive as immediate, like as quick as as possible,
Because
it's a street bike.
Yes.
So
yes.
it was a wait, what? Moment to me
Mm.
for kicking in late.
Ah.
I locked it and then it kicked. I'm like, no,
Mm.
shouldn't.
It
So it
shouldn't.
was a what? Yeah,
Okay.
moment for me.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, the
mean,
braking about braking.
Yeah, I loved the front brake. For me, it was good. And the rear.
Okay.
Now the digital dash.
Mhm.
Now I saw the digital dash saying the bike does 2.8 liters per 100 kilometers, which is like roughly 35 to 36 kilometers per liter, which is very good numbers. But now I tried to push it to see whether it will change, but I didn't see
It
any
didn't change.
response, so I'm not sure whether it's working. I don't know whether
So,
it's
so here's the thing from as far as I've checked it out.
okay.
It can do that as long as you're below 6,000 RPM in high gears.
Okay. It
So
can,
5,500, 6,000
Mhm.
in sixth gear, it can give you that. All right. The owner went from Nairobi to Marsabit.
Mhm.
Another con is the fuel gauge is bipolar.
Mm.
It's not accurate whatsoever.
Okay,
However,
okay, okay.
However, he noticed something, but of which I haven't noticed yet. He said the fuel gauge right there will not be accurate, but when you switch off the bike and come later on and turn it on, it will give you the exactly accurate
The amount of fuel you have.
the amount of fuel. But you want to tell me yesterday when he came from Nairobi, we kicked around give or take 100 clicks because we did some diversions on our way.
Mhm.
You want to tell me today in the morning it's still showing full tank?
I think it shows like 2 bars down.
Right now it's 2 bars down.
Yeah.
So from here I'm going to fuel it up full
Mhm.
and see how many liters. That will exactly give me the accurate number of liters I've used so far with your test and our ride here. Then we will calculate based to the kilometers we've spent so far, and then we take it out.
Yeah. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
But I'm talking about the range. There's the
the
fuel
2.8.
gauge. Yeah, there's the range there. I'm not sure whether it's working because I expect the more you push the bike, the more the range goes lower.
Yes,
So
but
maybe
it's
it would move.
but it's not
It's not responding.
adjusting to. Yeah.
So I was asking myself, is it for aesthetic purpose? Someone it's working.
Thank
so
you for that.
I'm not sure.
That's a good question.
So that it being that static made me doubt whether it's working. So if you're dealing with it as a rider who's a beginner,
You might
don't
then
rely on
get
it.
caught up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, the most annoying part is for me was the fan.
He's not a fan of that fan.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the fan. The
Yeah.
fan was very intrusive, kicked in multiple times, which I felt it was not normal in
Okay.
my opinion.
Okay.
Because anytime the bike did like 92 degrees, the fan will kick in, goes down to 87.
Right.
Again, when you push the bike, it hits like 90 degrees. The fan goes on again.
Okay.
Then it cools down, goes off. Now again,
Up and down.
up
Yeah.
and down. So I'm like, okay, I thought maybe fans are supposed. I'm not really technical, but I'm thinking maybe fans are supposed to kick like close to 100 degrees, which is the normal boiling point of oil or
Right.
engine, and
Yeah.
maybe people who are technical can advise on that. I'm not sure.
I did a bit of research on that.
Mm.
Called a few mechanics around,
Yes.
the guys who are knowledgeable as far as technical side is concerned, and
Yes.
so they pointed out a couple of things.
Hmm.
So remind me to mention about the coolant. I hope you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will. I will.
Cool.
Mm.
So about the fan, the thing was maybe the thermal was meant for a different weather.
Okay.
So it might be a smaller one,
The
but not.
thermostat. You mean the
Yes,
thermostat? Okay.
yes.
Okay.
The thermal might be smaller, or the range it was meant to be, it kicks in from 91. But on a normal, like Jigsaw kicks in from 96, 97.
Okay.
A normal Jigsaw up to, and they tell you, let it count up to 110. You key up to 110.
Okay.
From from 110 to 115, you need to stop. Something somewhere is wrong. But
Mm.
between 96, 97, all the way to 110 on a Jigsaw, and some of these sports bike, bigger bikes,
Okay.
on the normal brands, Kawasaki's,
Mm.
and the likes, it's still okay. But this specific one, the guy was like, it might be the thermal is smaller,
Okay.
and also the idea was not meant for the African. There's the above tropical weather, and
Yeah,
maybe
tropical weather.
tropical, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and then the one non-tropical weather.
Yes, yes.
So it might be it
Mhm.
wasn't considered to be. It's not our market really,
Ah,
to,
okay.
to our market.
Yeah.
So that yeah, that's a bit technical. We can.
Mm.
DS is new. DS is new on the market, Kenya market, maybe 1 year now.
Yeah.
Very few guys have had it.
Hmm.
This is the one you rode is 6,000 kilometers on it.
Yes, I saw 6,000. Yeah.
Perhaps maybe the oldest might be around 20, 30, and
Mm.
bike starts showing what it is
Mm.
when it hits like anything from 35 or 30
Mhm.
going up, then it starts coming out. So these are like just, this is what you're going to use to know what exactly the VOGE is.
I think the fan kicking like that, it might be a good thing and a bad thing at the same time, because it can be a good thing because it's a fail safe measure
Correct.
to ensure that the engine, it's a small bike, it's a single cylinder.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes the temperatures might really go high, so
Yeah.
it just ensures that it keeps it
Keeps it.
balanced,
Yeah,
which,
yeah, yeah.
which is good. But now I'm a little bit concerned in terms of the long run use of that fan going
Fan
on and
kick.
off.
Yeah.
It can be a failure point. It
Yes.
can be a failure point, especially for the owner of the bike.
You remember I had a same problem on my car,
Yes, yes.
and then I came across there's an experienced driver I gave,
Hmm.
and so he's like, I your engine one fan is on throughout.
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah. I told the mechanic, and the mechanic told me, do you have a problem with it? And I'm like, no, I don't. I'm just concerned. He's like, will you have a problem if the fan doesn't kick in, or when the fan kicks in? And I'm like, I think when the fan doesn't, I have a problem. He's
Yeah,
like,
that's,
so shut up.
yeah.
But then this guy asked me a question.
Mm.
He's like, I was concerned because when I was coming back, the temperatures were low. And the fan is kicking in when the temperatures are low. Don't you think that's a problem? And it was like, I was like, yeah.
Because it will take time for the engine to warm up,
Yeah.
right?
Because he wasn't seeing the temperatures on my dash coming up also ever. He's like,
Optimum, yeah.
yeah. And he's like, no, the thing was all the way down there.
Mm.
So anyway, just to come to that, the mech also mentioned about, and also you did mention, it might be a direct
Direct, it's connected directly
to the battery.
to the battery.
Man,
I had that with the GS as well.
really?
The reason
Oh,
why I'm saying it's a
yes.
failure point is because at that point the fan was directly, when you put the bike on, the fan goes on,
Yeah.
and at some point in time the fan just gave up,
Just give it
because it's not meant to be running.
10 minutes, yeah?
Yeah, it's not meant to be running constantly.
Correct.
So that's a failure point. At one point, the fan will give up. It's supposed to come once and then go off, and then,
Right.
And then also something you've said there,
Yeah.
when you put the VOGE bike off, the fan still runs. So it means maybe it's directly
Straight to the
connected.
battery,
Yes.
connected, and that means it can bite your battery. I mean, can drain your battery,
Mm.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Sorry, just speak. Oh, okay. Sour, huh?
Yes. So that's what I felt about that. So maybe you
Okay.
guys can check that, the technical guys.
Okay.
And maybe sometimes you can say maybe it's the coolant that is leaking,
Mm.
or maybe there's an issue with the radiator cap, and the bike
Okay.
is new. I don't know. Maybe the radiator should also need to be checked.
Yeah.
Because if the fan is always coming in multiple
Yeah,
times,
no.
there's an issue somewhere.
And this is I checked also with the riders, the owners of DS VOGE 300
Okay.
in Colombia.
Yes.
Still the same thing.
Complaining the
Yeah.
same issue.
Well, see the guys in Colombia, the one I watched, they love it so much, and you see, like us, we're giving very neutral critique.
Yeah.
It's not about the feelings,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and we're not being haters here.
Mm.
Just mentioning things we've identified.
Yes.
So I felt the guys who are giving the reviews there, they love it. And then when I checked again, they are new riders. That was like their first bikes.
Oh yeah.
So they don't know what they don't know.
Yes. Yes. That's
And
true.
they will speak from a passionate perspective,
Yeah.
but not on a very
Neutral ground.
neutral,
Yeah.
yeah,
From experience.
from
point of view.
experience also.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's
So I think that's for me. But for me, I wouldn't advise against the bike.
okay.
I'd say it's a good bike. If somebody is willing to do some bit of off road,
Yeah.
they can also check on the wheels. I felt like
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
100% paved.
Even paved way. Yeah. Thank you.
Hey,
Those are nylons, man.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
nylon
they were
tires.
nylons, yeah. That's a problem.
The nylon tires on your trains. Yesterday when you were coming, I was just praying. I'm like, man, let it not rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thankfully it didn't
Yes.
rain.
But
Hopefully-
overall,
Yeah, it's
I'll
good.
give the bike, just being honest, I'll just give it like a 7.5.
Okay, out of 10.
Yeah.
That's solid.
Yeah, very, very solid.
Tell me about the
But,
side mirrors.
Oh yeah, I don't know why I didn't say that. They need, you need to, somebody would need to buy side mirrors. Those side mirrors are so small. Honestly, very, very small. Sometimes your elbows will block the point of view. I don't know why I forgot that. So that's one area.
They
Where if you're buying the bike,
Yeah.
get another side mirror. It will save you a ton of problems.
Two guys in Colombia, they changed the side mirrors.
Mm.
And they actually changed to the ones that I had considered not even the best
Okay.
for the VOGE rally.
Ah.
Because I complained, but apparently this is even more worse than the VOGE rally. And I was like, whoa.
Uh-huh.
So the mirrors, I don't like them for sure.
Mhm.
And man, I mean, just give me good lights. I mean, those lights are cute. If you see the running lights during the day, but at night,
Oh,
oh,
the DLRs.
yeah, nah. So you have to really add on extra lights.
Yeah, I saw the bike has some extra lights.
Yes.
But now
So
I rode it during the day, so
yeah, you couldn't see, and then yeah. So, but at night, those lights are candles, my guy. You don't see anything.
Wow.
Yeah. So side mirrors, candles.
Mhm.
I mean the the side mirrors and the
On
headlights.
the headlights, yes.
Yeah, that one. Then the coolant just disappears.
Yeah,
This is
I've
the
seen
third
something
bike.
about the coolant here.
This is the third bike.
Mm-hmm.
When the client came,
Mm-hmm.
no, when we picked the bike, who brought the bike? I don't know how it got into my hands.
Okay.
I don't know how I got it,
The
but it
bike-
was zero from the Nairobi power bikes.
Okay.
So I rode it first day, second day. Then when I packed it, I'm like, hold on, check the coolant. We're not seeing it. Hey, I'm asking Simon, what's going on? So we go to Steve Das. We check the coolant was terribly low.
Okay.
I was like, oh, okay, maybe they forgot to put it in, but there's no way mechanics or the dealers will forget that.
Yeah.
Checking online is the same issue. Juicy, there's another rider, client of mine. He bought the same bike. When he came straight to check, dry. The this same bike had been serviced. So when we added in, and when he went back for the service, it was low.
Oh.
So that's a very huge concern because now
That's the reason why the fan is
Fan-
kicking in.
but the fan really is not directed into the coolant per se, from the technical perspective, because for the coolant to come down or to be low, it has to, coolant is to cool. So there's inlet and outlet. The hot whatever will come out as a steam, and if the internal cap, the radiator cap, if it's loose, then the steam will be coming out. It means the coolant will drop in terms of the quantity.
Yes.
Or the engine passage pipes. If there's any other leakage or the leakage, whatever, it has to be leaking somewhere.
But now the most catastrophic reason, which is the third reason,
Yes.
is if the coolant is leaking into the head gasket.
Yes. Now that one is
yeah.
But how do we know?
The aspect that I'm saying,
Yeah.
where the coolant can be directly linked to the fan kicking on and off, is the coolant is meant to it goes in, it comes from the the coolant in the radiator. I'll not be too technical, but the little that I know, when that coolant is cold, it's meant to draw out the heat from the engine.
Correct.
So if it draws out from the heat from the engine, it goes. It's a cyclic.
The circulation, yeah.
It goes inside and then picks up the heat and comes out, and then the fan is meant to cool it.
Correct.
So it means that if you have low coolant in the radiator,
okay,
it means that this fan has to work extra hard because the heat sensor, I don't know how it's called, the heat sensor, notices that these temperatures are dangerously high.
Okay.
So the fan has to try and cool the coolant.
Because the coolant is low.
Yeah, because the coolant is low, yeah.
So it means when
there's heat in the engine. Yeah.
But you see, even after adding the coolant, it was still doing that.
Even when you're adding the coolant, no, I don't know now.
But that's a good what if.
Yes. So that can also be another thing. So maybe the guys can check.
Yeah.
The owners can check the coolant leak. Possible issues, such as we said, maybe the cap maybe is too big or the cap is loose, or sometimes the reservoir can also
have some leakage somewhere, whatever.
The hose pipes.
Yeah.
And now, of course, the one that we've said, the crank, not the crankshaft, sorry, the gasket, the head of the engine.
Right.
Taking in some coolant. So yeah.
So I think time will tell.
That one is very worrying for me.
It is.
Anything
it is.
To do with
an engine, man.
With engine temperatures is crazy.
He has a story.
Yeah. Because for any machine, what I understand is liquids in an engine is the lifeblood of the machine.
Correct.
If your engine has issues with liquids, you have a problem.
And you've dealt with so many engines, like generator engines. You've dealt with.
Yes, I have a generator. I know the engine is needed.
Yeah.
You always have to check the levels.
Right.
For my car as well.
Yeah.
I always have to ensure I check the levels. And it's recommended for the bike as well.
Correct.
Because if you don't have coolant or you don't have oil, one or the other, you're in deep problems.
Thanks, man. That's pretty much impressive and detailed.
Thank you.
It can't get better than that.
Yeah, that was good, and I hope you guys, when you watch this video, you'll be informed and make the best decision for yourself.
Yep.
That's what I'd say.
So you haven't tested the VOGE 300 rally yet?
Not yet.
Yeah. Any other three? Oh yeah, the unit was 300. So between the DS, perhaps just to push it, to just throw it out there, between the DS and the Dayun that you've had, which one will you fully and blindly go for?
Man, you've put me in a very tight fix here.
No, man.
Well, of course, I would choose the Dayun.
Okay.
Only for the reason.
Case closed.
Now listen. Only for the reason that I rode it for a while.
Oh yeah.
So
that's
the VOGE, I've
for
only
a fact.
had it for like 1 hour. Or something.
Correct.
So looking at that, which might not be a very perfect indication.
Perfect, yeah. It can be biased. You are subconsciously biased.
Yes.
So
if I ride maybe with time, but now in terms of power, honestly,
you will go for Dayun. You'll go for Dayun because Dayun can easily do 160, 150.
Yeah,
it was 140 something. Yeah.
I did 145.
When we were coming from Lamu straight to Garissa,
yes,
you went.
I did
until we found you sounding like a helicopter.
Yeah,
the pipe came off.
Went loose. Yeah, the exhaust pipe went loose.
Yeah.
Of course, Chinese bikes, you have to expect some nuts.
Chinese, my man.
But now the VOGE, on the torque and speed part.
Yeah.
I really struggle to hit a 120.
Yeah, honestly. Yesterday we did 150. We could do 115, but you my guy.
Yeah.
The vibration.
Now that's another thing on the
on the foot pegs.
On the foot pegs.
Yes.
That's the first thing I felt when I got out with the bike.
Yeah, vibration was there.
Yes.
And somehow my ego was bruised because I was with my woman, and this pickup full of meat, that kahilo of Enkare. Naikangare. Good Lord. The guy left me, man. I'm squeezing all the living out of it. Dropped gears. Until I was just like,
So even me, when you gave me, I tested it in a
steep. You just see it. Speed dropping. Just before your eyes.
Yeah.
It's not even shameful.
Unless you really have so much momentum.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty much it for now, because also the bike is new in the market.
Yep.
We can deep dive into it and bring like compare it with couple of 300s around available on the. I think there's TRK. I haven't tested it yet.
That's a 250.
TRK. There's a 300. I don't know. There's a
Okay.
450 MT.
Oh yeah, there's the Cove as well.
There's Cove, which
Yeah.
is I'm hoping. I
But I'm
talked to
not
the
sure.
company.
Does the Cove have like a
The
paved
street?
bike? Yeah, the
Yeah,
street.
yeah, apparently there is, but I'm not sure if they have the 250. There's a 250.
Okay.
There's a 350.
Okay.
No, the 450.
Mm-hmm.
There's a 8 something. There's a guy online who's given me to test and give reviews for the DS900. I'm like impressive.
Yeah,
So thank you for supporting, man. I'm seeing you guys are coming through. They're liking the work, and I'm pretty much sure this is a very good
informative
interaction also.
Yes.
So that it's just having it from one person over and over. And thanks, man. I appreciate for creating
Thank you,
time
man.
also. And yeah,
Santana.
appreciated.
Sante.
We're gonna have it for the GS, the Vistrom.
Yes, I'll give you the wisdom to do a test one of these days.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Subscribe,
Yeah.
share. That's the best way you can help me grow and help this the Kenyan community also come up. Cheers to the next one.